Victor Mwanangombe. I am representing CARITAS Zambia as well as the Christian Churches Monitoring Group. And as you've rightly noted, we are in the company of Alliance for Community Action, Chapter 1 Foundation as well. I'll allow my colleagues to introduce themselves and hand back to you, Honorable.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mwamba Yuri Tangoma Milambo Remington from Chapter 1 Foundation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bruno Swana. I'm representing Alliance for Community Action.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shanambe Dominic. I'm from CARITAS Zambia. Thank you.
Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Nalisha Usapi. I'm from CARITAS Zambia.
Pleasure having you. We may switch off that mic, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon. Lydia Doroba, CARITAS Zambia.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Kunda. I'm from CARITAS Zambia, ZCCB Communications Officer.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Agab Mwanza, Bloggers of Zambia.
Okay.
Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Oniumbo Fwana, Bloggers of Zambia. Thank you.
We have our permanent witness.
Yes, Chair. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Tauna Daka. I'm appearing as permanent witness from the Ministry of Justice. Thank you.
We are grateful. Secretariat.
Good afternoon. Chitalu Mlenga from the Office of the Clerk.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Evans Chilongo from the Office of the Clerk. Thank you.
And then we have honorable members sitting virtually who have this.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon to our witnesses that have appeared before the committee, Select Committee. I'm Dr. Clement Andeliti, a Member of Parliament for Kakumbura Constituency, Kakumbura District of the Southern Province. Thank you very much.
Humbled, the Honorable. Any other who is free to introduce himself or herself?
Good afternoon, Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
Good afternoon, our witness. I'm Jacqueline Sabao, Member of Parliament for Chikankata, Member of the Select Committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, and good afternoon, witness. I'm Imanga Wamnima Jr., Member of Parliament for Nalolo Constituency, Western Province, and a member of this Select Committee. I thank you.
We are grateful to you, Honorable. Others are engaged, though logged in. Others could be having network challenges. Skongo. Yes.
Did you hear me?
Yes, we said we are grateful to Jigankata.
I know we have a challenge of internet in Jigankata.
We have said it.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
But we heard you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, witness. I'm Frank Simushi, Member of Parliament for Skongo constituency.
Kalabo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon, CARITAS. My name is Chinga Mioto for Karabu Central.
Remember Mtale is my name. Member of Parliament for Chitambo.
Grateful. And Mutelo Mishek, MP for Mitete, Chair Having done the introductions, would I request you to walk us through your submission. We have a perusal of writs. I would love you to just go to salient issues, maybe up to page 5. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
So, even Alliance is buying into this document?
Yes. Yes. Honorable members and chair of this committee, the Alliance for Community Action, CARITAS Zambia, Chapter 1 Foundation, and the Christian Churches Monitoring Group their feedback on the Electoral Process Amendment Bill number 44, 2026, following previous submissions to the Electoral Commission of Zambia and a Ministry of Justice discussion in March. Our submission is based on the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, regional electoral jurisprudence, and international standards for democratic human rights. Honorable Chairperson, we commend the National Assembly for seeking public input on this important legislation. While civil society recommendations improved drafts, we, the undersigned, observe that the current bill contains elements contrary to regional and international standards, which may hinder Zambia's democracy and create legal issues. Chairperson, this submission is in 2 parts, but with your guidance, we'll focus on the salient issues as has been guided. Issue number 1. Section 36C1, which speaks to proportional representation lists to be submitted within 7 days after election results are final and PR seats have been allocated. In virtually all mixed member and pure proportional representation systems globally, Chair, party lists must be and generally published within a specified period before elections so that voters can assess and object to candidates and make informed decisions at the ballot. The proposed approach will also be extremely difficult to functionally administer because under Section 36G, the committee publish the names of members of parliament and councillors that have obtained seats within 7 days of receiving the list. Timeline allows only 7 days for the commission, that is the Electoral Commission of Zambia, to verify the eligibility of every individual candidate, seek redress where necessary, and process challenges and appeals. Our recommendation, therefore, Chair, is that parties should be required to submit lists before elections as suggested in earlier drafts of the bill to ensure time for candidate vetting, list correction, and publication of candidate information for voter review. The second issue, Chair, is the change in the basis for distributing proportional representation seats at local council level. Bill number 44 eliminates the requirement set out in the earlier drafts. In Bill number 44, however, requires the Commission to conduct calculations to achieve the 18% goal, with no guidance or rules on how to deal with the remainders resulting in partial seats. Under this approach, the actual number of PRS seats that will be assigned to each local council cannot be after calculations are complete, and there is no way for voters, community members, or other stakeholders to verify the calculations independently. And this then speaks to issues of transparency. This opens the door to real or perceived errors in the seat distribution process. Further, for many local councils, the 18% calculation will also likely result in the number of PRS seats per council compared to the number of seats that would have been assigned under the earlier drafts or was in the earlier drafts. Specific concerns from our end include: 1, the proportion of PRS seats allocated to women, youths, and persons with disabilities in the National Assembly constitute approximately 14% of the Assembly, not 18%. The 18% proportion only arises when one includes presidentially appointed members of parliament. This raises questions about the normative and legal basis of the 18% rule. The second concern, Chair, is no guidance or rules are provided to deal with the remainders resulting in partial seats. The 18% calculation will result in remainders and partial seats, and the bill does not provide rules for how remainders and partial seats will be addressed to arrive at whole numbers in a consistent and predictable way. It is also unclear how any rule to deal with remainders and partial seats would be applied to align the 4:3 or 1 ratio set out in section 6E2. Timelines for the Electoral Commission to publish the number of proportional seats in each council are unclear under the section 36E4. As a result, neither local government nor voters will likely know the total number of proportional representation seats for each council until after elections. Our recommendation: the bill should be revised to apply the approach to local council proportional representation seats allocation set out in the earlier drafts, which applied a specified number of proportional representation seats for each category, which is women, youth, and persons with disabilities, based on the size of the local council, organizing councils into 3 groups based on a specified size range. This approach is mathematically compatible with the seat allocation formula set out in the second schedule of the bill. The third issue, Chair, is section 36D and 36F, eliminating requirements proposed under previous versions of the bill that proportional representation lists for youth and persons with disabilities apply a zipper system to alternate women and men candidates. Evidence from around the world, Chair, indicates that without mandatory rules or structured incentives, parties are likely to include women on such not likely to include women on such lists.
Parties are less likely
to include women on such lists. Since Bill number 44 does not provide any guidance on how parties should develop their lists to ensure internal democracy, equality of opportunity, or equity in outcomes, or any requirements that parties ensure women equal opportunities to stand for majoritarian seats, the new electoral system may operate as a cap on women's representation rather than a floor. Our recommendation: the zipper system should be retained for all youth and persons with disability lists to support the inclusion of women as required under Article 45(1)(d) of the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia. The next issue, Chair, is Section 36I2 allows political parties with councillors under the proportional representation system to recall the councillor at any time during the term of the council. This is adversive to the principles of democratic elections and due process. In no other jurisdiction, Chair, are political parties permitted to remove sponsored elected officials from office for any reason whatsoever without due process, specified grounds for removal, or public engagement of any kind. Our recommendation is that this provision should be removed from the bill in its entirety, as it serves no justifiable purpose. If recall mechanisms are required, other than those outlined for the councillors under the post seats, grounds for potential removal should be specified within the bill, and the office bearers to appeal and full due process must be guaranteed. Candidate particulars not to be published in the Gazette, newspapers, or electronic format for candidates for parliamentary or local councils. Whereas earlier versions of the bill required the Commission to publish particulars of all candidates, Bill number 44 limits publication of candidate details to presidential and vice presidential candidates. It also appears, Chair, to have removed the requirements to publish assets and liability data for presidential and vice presidential candidates. Data from all other candidates will only be posted at polling stations. This is inconsistent with international standards and undermines the ability of voters to make informed choices. Our recommendation: the particulars of all candidates for offices, including candidates for proportional representation seats, should be published for voter review before an election in widely accessible outlets and formats. Publication of conflict of interest declarations, including assets and liabilities, should also be required for candidates for president and vice president. Section 39H5, 6I3B, requiring the vacancies to be filled by the next available candidate on the party list for the party of, I'll read that again. Requiring the vacancies to be filled by the next available candidate on the party list for the party of the vacating member. In the proposed system, this rule is not possible to implement in practice because Section 36D 1 and 36F1 require that the number of candidates on all party PR lists be exactly equal to the number of seats won by that party. There are no potential alternates that could be used to fill a vacancy. Our recommendation, Chair, is that these errors should be corrected because we believe this is an error. The law should require that PR lists for National Assembly and all local councils be submitted to the Commission before an election, and that all lists include a specified number of that is greater than the total number of available seats for each elected body. This approach would ensure that the primary lists are sufficient to fill all potential available PR seats and to fill any potential future vacancies without further administrative complications. Section 95B, discretionary rule-making authority to the Chief Justice to regulate nomination petition processes, timelines, and fees. This, Chair, does not align with international standards and undermine Zambia's electoral justice framework. Electoral justice requires that parties, candidates, and voters have advanced knowledge of petition procedures and are meaningfully able to challenge or defend any nominations. Our recommendation: revise the bill to make it mandatory that the Chief Justice establishes rules setting out the procedures, timelines, costs, and other matters incidental to nomination petitions within the law. The second schedule provides the formula and steps for proportional representation seat allocation to National Assembly and local councils. The schedule contains several drafting errors and ambiguities. Part D cross-references the allocation of PR seats in local councils to Section 3D, but Section 3D refers to National Assembly seats distribution. Section 36I ties local council seats distribution to an 18% calculation. And as noted above, neither the bill nor the schedule set out rules for how the 18% calculations for local council PR seats should be calculated to deal with remainders or to maintain the 4:3:1 ratio. Our recommendation: provisions in Bill number 44 that tie the number of PR seats assigned to each local council to an 18% calculation should be deleted, and drafters should revert to the more clear and predictable allocation rules set out in the earlier drafts. Part 8A, mechanisms to challenge nomination. Several provisions are contradictory to electoral justice rights and adjudication timelines set out in Article 52(4) of the Constitution. If proportional representation seats are not submitted until 7 days after seats have been allocated by the Electoral Commission following election results, and if the names of candidates who have obtained proportional representation seats are not until 7 days after list submission, there is no opportunity, Chair, for the public to scrutinize and no opportunity to challenge nominations through a petition. Our recommendation is that there is need to revert to the approach proposed in earlier drafts and require political parties to submit PR lists to the National Assembly and all local councils as eligible before elections. Chair, I understand your guidance was to go up to page 5.
But you can go to 16.
Yes, sure.
You read the additional recommendation and mystery.
Thank you for your indulgence, Chair. So we have a number of additional recommendations. One is there is no guidance. Okay, this one we've got with it already.
Because I did not want to say some of what you have said. There's a repetition.
Yes, that is correct. The first one was a priority, and then the other one was a more detailed.
I said I saw the additional, so I thought maybe that's why I said you go to page 16.
Thank you for your indulgence, Chair. So in terms of the additional ones, we looked at section 77 on election monitors and observers. Chair, section 77 is an important section in elections, and our submission is that this is unchanged from earlier drafts. Provisions should be revised to ensure that accreditation of monitors and observers extends rights to all elements of the electoral process and the entire electoral cycle in line with international standards. The current section 77 only provides for accreditation of monitors for purposes of observing or monitoring an election. How about the other processes? Delimitation, Chair. This is, of course, an unchanged submission that we've made. There is no guidance on ensuring equality of the vote through specifying tolerable variances from the population quota in line with international standards. This is despite Section 125 of the Electoral Process Act, providing that the Commission should develop regulations.
We interact, you explain.
Thank you, Chair. Access to media. Article 50 of the Constitution gives the right to all political parties and candidates contesting an election to access media, especially during election campaigns. The electoral law should be operationalized Article 50 of the Constitution by establishing a legal framework for equitable media access, including defined airtime allocation criteria for political parties and candidates. The Electoral Process Law or Act should mandate public broadcasters to provide fair, balanced, and direct access, and require private media to offer non-discriminatory and equal political advertising. The Electoral Process Law or Act should empower the ECZ to regulate, monitor compliance, and adjudicate complaints through a timely and enforceable mechanism. I submit, Chair.
We are totally grateful. Your team being a useful team, you all seem to be energetic, even the reading itself, so we are totally grateful. Honorable members, it's time for points of clarification. Yes, Congo. Sir, let's have your mic off. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, CARITAS, for your presentation. I just have maybe a general comment to make. I think the presenter was constantly making reference to area drafts, and I almost raised the point of order. And in his reference to the area drafts, he was not giving us actually the details of what contained in those area drafts. So I don't know how useful that reference is to us, because we have to the drafts that is he has been referring to without giving details. My question is, I wanted to find out the difference between the first post, the past, the proportional representation, and then the nominated, in terms of how they should be applied in the election. I ask this question because I heard you talk about the voters needing to know who is supposed to be in the proportional representation. So I don't know whether they are supposed to vote for those people as well. So maybe just clarity from your end. Thank you so much.
Any addition? Before you respond, we have been joined by a honorable member who would love her to introduce herself. Sorry, ma'am, you've not given you time to settle, but you may go ahead to introduce yourself.
Chair, good afternoon. That is really appreciated. Good afternoon, honorable members, and good afternoon to our witness. My name is Veso Kakoma Sefolo. I'm a member of Parliament for Mondi constituency in the Western Province and a member of the Select Committee. Thank you.
We are grateful that you have joined, because they would have been saying they are all men, save for those who introduced themselves virtually. Now we have a physical female member of Parliament. Number one, Congo is saying through this committee, the bills you are referring on to. Number two, first past nominated PR.
Thank you, Chair. So Of the first question from Honorable. When we refer to the first draft, think you are aware that the Electoral Commission of Zambia had circulated a document, I don't even know what to call it anymore, for stakeholders to make submissions. And if you recall, one of the issues that raised controversy was the removal of a stamp from the ballot paper as an official mark. So that is one draft that we refer to. The second draft is that on 17th March, we interacted with the Ministry of Justice virtually, and there was a version that was presented in stakeholders made submissions. So that is the reference that we are making, because progressively we looked at these documents, and what we have now seems to be different from what we've been looking at progressively, hence the reference.
Okay.
When it comes to the distribution of seats, we know that proportional representation is a proportion of something. So if it's a proportion of something, it means there are people that are elected to create that proportionality. So based off that understanding and on the fact that there is a list to be submitted, it goes then therefore that we need to know at nomination level, at that clause of nomination, who is vying for what seat, for example, under the first past the post, because they have submitted their nomination. But most importantly, we also need to know who is appearing on a proportional representation list for Party A, Party B, and Party C. So that's the distribution. However, the nominated members of the parliament are not elected themselves. They are nominated on the basis of the powers of the president to do so through the constitution. So members of parliament nominated are not elected, but they are members of parliament. But the proportional representation members of parliament are, for lack of a better term, as good as elected, because they come from a proportion of an elective system. I submit, Chair.
But then you said, yes, Honorable.
Mine is a follow-up on the response by the witness.
Yes, Honorable.
Where he's saying that the names of the people who come under PR should be known before the elections. Is it considering the provision of saying that you can only come up with a number depending on the presidential results of a particular political party? So where are we going to draw the mandate of coming up with a list of names when we don't know how many votes are going to have for each political party?
Okay.
That's my question.
Are you taking that? Yes. Another follow-up, just to take note, we are a team, so please let's be taking note so that we help each other.
Thank you, Chair.
Progressively.
I think it's on the same issue in terms of how you define proportionality. I think that's where maybe we need more clarity. I think like the previous speakers mentioned, the proportionality, I think, is being based on what you get after the results are out. And the way you are defining it, I think it's now changing what we already know. And maybe that's why we are saying it's better to allocate the proportions after you have known what has come out of the election. Thank you so much.
Your hand was up. Yes, Kalabo.
Thank you. My question, Honorable Chair, is arising from the word proportion. If we are to understand what proportion is, there's pro and portion. So these two, the prefix of this noun, portion. Now the presenter is saying the names must be presented, but this is a proportion. Proportion. How do you present names, Honorable Chair? The portions are not known because it's a proportion. It's not known. How are you going to come up with that number of names? Thank you.
Yes, madam.
Sorry. Thank you so very much, Chair. Maybe just also from the witness, do we have countries that we can learn lessons from where this proportional representation has happened and parties have been allowed to give the list in advance? I submit.
Okay. In summary, you said it should be before, but what you just stated, you said people who base the proportion on a. So don't you think you are contradicting yourself? Now take all the questions and then clarify.
Chair, there is no contradiction in what I said. And basically this is the same question as you've summarized. So what we are saying, Chair, is that you have an option as a party, for example.
Honorable, they will come to the pro and portion, then you will not. So our rules, when you ask a question, you don't move, you wait. I know we multitask. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. So the law has guided in terms of how many proportional seats have been allocated. It's 40 in total.
40.
20 for women, 15 for youths, and 5 for persons with disabilities. Now, when you go to an election as a political party, you aim for the highest, and the list is that you submit, the requirement is that you submit a list of all the 20 names for women.
2015.
You submit that, whether you are not limiting yourself as to 5. You are submitting everything as is. So that does not stop you from submitting a full list because you are ambitious. And it's also, again, I think it's a requirement that the list has the exact number. If this is what the law is saying, that you need to submit the exact number. So if you are submitting an exact number, these people should be known. Now, when a proportion is determined, a commission will now calculate to say, okay, party A now has 50,000 out of 100,000 of the vote. What is the proportion of their women list that they should get from this 50,000? Then they'll understand that it is 18. So meaning from your party list now they are getting only 15 or 18. Then the next party, the next one who has gotten high, they say, okay, this one now has gotten the rest, which is 2. Then they will allocate the seat, but your list of 20 remains intact as it is. So that then does not give us a reason why not to, provide the names in advance. So the proportion is only known after the election, but the submission of the list has to be done before.
Then now the semantics.
The semantics
of pro and the portion.
Chair, I am not competent to talk about those different, what do you call them? The prefix,
noun.
And the noun, yes, Chair, but my understanding is on what I've explained.
Then portion. You can only portion what you would have already known, calculated. Then you portion. But from one day, any learning from outside Zambia?
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you for the questions that have been asked. Maybe just to come in from the explanation that my colleague had given, talking about the pro and the portion. So we are saying the portion of the seat allocation will only be done later, after, which is the post. However, what she's saying is when it comes to the actual list itself with the number of people, because we already know the limits that are required for the youths, for the women, and for the persons with disabilities. So because of that, the portion itself will come after, but that doesn't stop you from actually giving the list required, such that even at the time that will come to now the apportioning, you already have people. And the reason why this is important is because when you look at the people that are being put on that list, it's only right that citizens know, it's transparent, they know whom the likely leaders are to be from the lists that have been given. So when you look at transparency and accountability, the proposal is that people know beforehand for their information. When it comes to the countries, some of the countries that we're looking for, I think when you look at the as we had submitted on page 9, we actually do list a couple of countries that are doing this and how the lists haven't been given after the lists were given before. These countries are New Zealand, Germany, under the mixed system. And when it comes to the reserved seat, we've given countries such as Tanzania, Pakistan, and Bolivia. I'm obliged.
Chitambo.
Yes, on the same lists, you are proposing that the list should be given before the election. Are you saying these people become candidates? That's the first question. The second one is, are they supposed to pay the nomination fees to ECZ? If so, are they supposed to pay when the lists are given or after the election is done? Which one is your take?
They submit. Should they pay the fees?
Chair.
Your mic off. Yes, Honorable.
How is follow up on the witness response on the issue where they are saying that the list will be submitted before the elections? My question is, if the list is submitted, for instance, for the women to be 20, and then after the election, Part A gets 60% of the vote, what criteria will be used to pick the 60% from the list which was submitted before the election? A submission.
Yes, Caritas.
Chair, in the case of National Assembly, for example, the Constitution does provide, I think it speaks to a population quota, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, a quota that is going to be established to determine that proportion. But in any case, if you get 60%, it means we only get 60% of your list of 20. Yeah,
of
so
your 15,
yes,
and of your
5. So it's basically a portion. So it's not to worry. The list is inconsequential to how seats are going to be allocated.
Should they pay nomination fees?
I'm consulting with my colleagues on the bill as to whether it provides. But I think they also need to possess certain qualifications that other candidates do possess.
Before you pay any nomination fee, you have to qualify on the conditions to be what, a parliamentarian or a councillor.
Chair, on the issue of fees, I'm still consulting.
Please.
I've left the
Then
bill.
the first one from our honorable member attending virtually said, haven't you known that this proportion is tagged on to presidential? The proportion will be determined by the presidential results. So how, although we hear you say the lists must be submitted, thereafter you portion based on the results. But are you aware that it is as per the presidential results?
Chair, we are aware.
Okay. Yep. As you are consulting,
Thank you so much. I hear what you are saying, but I wanted to find out something. The proposal you make, is it something that's in our constitution, that this is how we should proceed, or you are basing it from what other
other countries are doing?
Because what I get, I don't see any serious departure in terms of whether you get the list before or after. It's, I think, I don't see any big difference.
Chair, we raised the issue that...
Be comforted.
Yes, Chair.
That we are just seeking points of connection so that we take your reasoning, we take your submissions deeply. Okay, sir.
Absolutely, Chair. Yes, we are also reflecting and understanding some of these things together. So when we talk about the list being submitted beforehand, there is a possibility of a petition to a nomination. So how do we petition nominations?
Just there. Who petition? Petitioning for what? Here is part A, saying our people are here. Part B, our people are here. So who petition?
Chair, the law
before elections.
The law provides for petition. Who petitions, we are not sure, but the law does provide for a petition. So if there is a petition, assuming there is a petition, how will that petition, if we are petitioning the list after the facts? And so even when the list is petitioned, at least if it's submitted before, we've also been advocating for an instance where a list is not decided to be a very closed and solid list, so that there should be flexibility for political parties to replace members within a reasonable time. Now, if we are going to submit a list after the facts, challenges are that political parties might have challenges in having to, amend that list after the facts. But also then, anyone who wants to petition is petitioning 7 days. So we even outlined the timelines that are given to say, once the elections are done, the commission only has 7 days within which to publicize those names. And after the publication of names, reallocate those or assign those seats, which time becomes functionally difficult to attain and administratively. So our proposal is that to save both the political parties and the Electoral Commission of Zambia, but also to ensure effective administration of the electoral process, there is no harm in providing these lists beforehand.
Okay. Then the petitions. Are you proposing the time frame as to when the lists should be submitted before elections? Then allow me put your mind to the total registered number of parties. You are aware of the number in Zambia currently?
Yeah, I may have a wrong figure.
Yes,
but I know there are quite...
That figure which you have?
There are quite many, Chair.
Are you aware from the engagement that they said we are 92 registered political parties? Should they all submit their lists?
Yes, Chair, because participation and participation in democracy does not limit any. If there are going to be 91 political parties contesting next year, each one of those political next year, I beg your pardon, each one of those political parties have an obligation to fulfill that. But again, the law says if you don't submit a list, you forfeit. So those that don't manage to submit, they forfeit. But the law itself should not restrict the submission.
Okay. Time frame to submitting, because after it is saying 7 days. So before it should be how many days?
Chair, the time frame is something that we would think about, but in terms of looking at the processes that lead up to the poll day, and factoring in aspects of any petitions and so on and so forth, I think it would be fair that political parties are allowed to submit those lists maybe 20 or so days after nomination have closed or something, but
So
it has to
20
be
days
within
after
a period.
nominations close.
Probably.
Okay, we don't want, if when we write here, then we have the problems like they are coming. So that's why we're asking you so that it's clear. Okay, Caritas.
Sure, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you consulted?
Yeah.
You were consulting, you remember?
Yes, no, Chair. We're trying to look at what time frames would be useful, because our focus was on before. So we relied, like I said, on the earlier drafts from the Commission which proposed submission before. So it would be prudent, therefore, for us to look at what was in the minds of the Commission when they looked at before in those earlier bills, and then circle back on the exact number of days which we look at before. Thank you.
Petitioning those on party list. On what basis? On which basis? Here is a party list. They have followed the conditions. So you petition on which basis?
So just to add what has already been elaborated, I think this House to the UN HRC Comment 25 that talks about publication and public scrutiny. So when we're talking about the list being given or being shared beforehand, we are saying this also allows for public scrutiny. And we are saying, okay, who then can petition when this list has been given? You'll find, honorable members, that there are times when, because at the end of the day, we are seeing all situations, we are foreseeing what would likely to happen. So imagine a party list is given, and on that party list, certain names have been, for example, omitted when it was initially agreed that they be put through. Such people also have the right to petition and say, okay, look, we were eligible, we fitted the category, the category and the criteria, but our names have not been submitted on the final party list.
But
so they have to be.
The party has its own rights.
The party has its own rights,
So
and it has members who
Yes,
are
so
part.
you think a member of that particular party
Yes.
should now complain to that, say, I'm not included on the list?
But there should be procedures for appeals and raising issues to higher authorities if we are not happy with or you've been aggrieved.
Within a political party A and political parties.
Just within political parties, but when you're talking about laws and creating laws, they have to be crafted in such a way that they are clear, they are certain, but they're also protecting human rights, and they're protecting members, they're protecting the general citizenry. So in this regard, if a member of a political party is aggrieved, the political party doesn't have the holistic framework to cover that grievance, the member who's aggrieved has the right to appeal to a higher body or to petition a higher court or a higher authority to help in their grievance when they are not happy with the decision. So that's why we're saying we shouldn't limit it to just political party or give that mandate to just political. No, it should go above and beyond. They should be able to petition to and higher bodies as well, other than political parties.
Let's hear from Skongo. Like Skongo, Honorable, let's hold a bit. Let's hold. It's becoming interesting. I should think both sides, isn't it? So that we reach, all we need is to hear you and hear you more clearly. Yes, sir.
Chair, you also made reference to why would somebody petition. So just in addition, the Constitution provides for disqualification of somebody from contesting. Now, it is very difficult to know if somebody was declared bankrupt and where they've been discharged bankrupt. So, and that is one of the conditions that sit in there as a basis for disqualification. So what if somebody, without the party knowing, is undischarged bankrupt and they appear on that list, and somebody somewhere who has that knowledge raises their hand, that gives them the right then to petition, because that person is illegal as far as the constitution is concerned. So those are some of the provisions that we as we were thinking about the submitting the names before I submit, Chair.
Okay, let's hear from Skongo.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think I hear the arguments being presented from our witness, and I think validly so. Except, I think I'll ask him one question. From whatever you are putting across, I think to me there is one aspect that you are trying to draw to. That is time frame for all those issues that you are talking about be brought about. So I thought your argument then would be the 7 days is not enough. So maybe let's increase the time frame so that we're able to accommodate all those things you are bringing up, so that the party list can still come after. But then there's enough time frame for people to make sure that they scrutinize where they feel things are not okay, they're able to be heard. Thank you so much.
Putting it straight.
Chair, as online we are not being taken into consideration, Chair. Please, when you are done taking into consideration.
I've seen your hand. I've seen your hand. Just and the witness, we have Katombola. So we may want to take you. We wanted to cool down because it was like when we were starting it we are just managing the process. It's your time, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I think that we need to take note that currently the Constitutional Amendment is number 13 of 2025, which was assented to by the Excellency President, has also brought it in 47, like we are saying, issues that has to do with proportional. So I'm trying to correct misconceptions that have been maybe raised by our colleagues from CARITAS and some misconceptions from members, just to clarify in a legal mind myself and member of the Royal Assembly of Zambia, that representation, the members that we submit, the 40 members, on the presidency filing, when the president files, he files together with those 40 people, 20 women, 5 disabled, 15. That is very, very clear. Now, the proportional representation envisaged under Article 47 is founded on the basis of the vote featured in a presidential candidate. That should be clear. Then the list of 40 as priority is a priority list from number, if it's women, from number 1. For example, if the candidate scores 70%, the priority list that has been submitted for the 40 women will be able to know, for example, Chair, drawing back to the previous elections we had in 2021, where our president got about 2.8 million and the other one had about 1 million. So the 2.8 million is computed on the basis of the votes gotten out of the total votes cast, the valid votes cast times 100. If they are going to compute the 20, to get the 20, they're going to compute based on the votes the president has gotten. So to say that how are we going to petition these people? The issues of petition do not arise there. I hope you are getting me.
We are following.
Thank you, Chair. These members that we are filing, they are candidates. By virtue of them having been filed together with the president, they should be qualified. For all purposes and intents, they must be qualified or be eligible in accordance with the provisions of the law. Under Article 72, the constitutional requirement for a member of parliament, because they are coming to parliament, whether they are used, they are disabled, criteria. So just like all of us are going to file, the same rules apply. So the issue of filing the list together with the presidential candidate is similar to us. We file with the members of parliament, and if there is someone who has an objection, they do raise objection. It's not they can file that list. If the 60% or whatever ends at number, the president out of 20 women has won only equivalent to 14 women. The first 14 women have been elected to the National Assembly of the Republic of Zambia. The rest would fall away. I just want to clarify that particular point, Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
CARITAS, were we together?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you so very much, Honorable. Take.
Chair, if the law required the party list to be submitted together with the president, it would have stated so. These are two different elections, and therefore the filing in together would not occur. What happens is that, yes, the 40 are a proportion of the presidential election, but they are at different levels. One is National Assembly and one is local government. And in any case, also argued before that it is only in Zambia where the proportion is actually based on the presidential election, because initially the proportion should have been based on the National Assembly seats attained by a political party. That is where you needed to derive your 2015 and all that. But Zambia is unique. We've taken the proportion of the presidential election. Therefore, it will not be a law that the more files than the 40-15 the 40 have equally filed. That, unless I misunderstood, but that cannot be, because these are three different categories. The presidential election is a majoritarian election.
Do you have the amended constitution?
Yes, Chair, we've interacted with the amended constitution.
Have you looked at what you have said?
Article 47, Chair. I think let us stick to the law.
That's Honorable.
Yes,
Honorable, that's what I'm doing.
Yes, Chair. This is what I'm saying. That
you have a look at it.
Yes, these are three different categories of elections. When you look at Article 45, and when it distinguishes these particular election types, the presidential election is a different election. The only thing that ties the proportional seat to the presidential election is that particular requirement that their proportion is based on the presidential election, but not to say that once the president files, then he has filed. The understanding is that the 30 or that list has equally been filed. No, the commission would require that the party supplies lists for those different categories, and they have different qualifications even within the law.
We are from Nalolo. Nalolo, yes. Honorable. Yes, your hand is up.
Chair, I think we must pay attention very to what the witness is saying. There is an interesting point. But nominations can be subject to be challenged. And this amendment introduces nominations of the PR list after the election, because the proposed amendment is talking about submission after the election. It is not talking about the president filing in. So just for us to be on the same page, that I think there is an interesting point that you fall short of legally challenging a nomination of an exact list. So I just wanted for us to see it from that angle, for a committee to apply its mind to a particular interesting point. That's from the way I'm seeing it. And Chair, just for the record, this particular amendment He's talking of lists after elections, especially for the PR, not at filing in. Thank you, Chair.
We are taking all the submissions. As we are interacting with CARITAS and Alliance, like we interact with others. So we are taking note. Then at the end of the submissions, we'll now come up with the recommendations after having listened to all the other stakeholders. Refresh the mind for the witness.
Yeah, I thought I had asked two questions, but I think they have not been responded to. The first one was the issue of proportionality. Is it something that is sitting in the law? Secondly, I was saying, if we increased the time after for this, the proportional members to come in, instead of 7, we increase something that is reasonable, so that we're able to take care of the concerns that you are raising. Is that okay or not?
Witness.
Chair, in terms of increase of time, what we would propose is that the time for filing is before. We insist on before.
Yes, on before.
Yes.
We asked of the timeline.
But the honorable member's question.
We're going back, but here is a 7 days after.
Yes.
And you equally said the days from 90 to 7, they're not enough. So as much as the argument here and the submission is before, what of the after? Is this enough?
We are opposed to the after. That's why we are not focusing on the after.
So, what would be the timeline?
We will not give a concrete timeline here because we did not discuss that to find.
You would submit?
Absolutely. In due course, we'll be able to finish
Thank
the
you so
commission
very
with
much.
that.
Would love that.
Okay.
Yes.
There was a second question from the honorable.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. So the proportional representation, honorable, is low because Article 45 was amended to introduce system. So we have the presidential elections, we have the first past the post, and we have the mixed member proportional representation system. So that, yes, is law. And then the law goes further now to talk about the proportionality and how it's going to be managed.
That much I understand. The question is what we've been discussing in terms of allocating the seats after.
So
is that in the law or not?
Honorable member, they've said don't want to apply themselves to the after. Their submission remains before.
What I'm talking about, I have gotten what they are saying, but the question is not with that argument they are putting across. I'm sure you've heard what I'm saying.
Yes.
Chair, this is what is in the bill. So there is no law that speaks to the application of proportionality as it relates to the candidates, because the Constitution spoke of as may be prescribed. So this prescribed that. So there is no law currently that speaks to that other than at National Assembly level.
Katombola, your hand is still up, Honorable. Katombola? Okay. Honorable members, any further clarifications?
I'm trying to move away from the discussion that we've had. You're talking about the issues of the remainders, I think in the distribution.
The 18%.
Yeah, but when we had ECZ, I think they spoke to that in terms of how the remainders were going to be handled. So I don't know whether this is contained in the drafts that you are talking about, but they made reference to how the remainders were going to be distributed.
I did not want to give what other witnesses had said. My focus is to get so that we do our own. Yes. Just once more again, on the 18%. Come out.
Chair, what we had referred to in terms of the earlier drafts, the numbers that were given were more desirable and they were easier to deal with the remainders. And if the Commission was able to explain here how it's done, then it should have been easier for the drafters to actually pick that up, because the Constitution requires that we need to have a simple electoral system, one that is easy to understand. Now, 18% issue raises challenges in understanding how it's going to be allocated. So already that then creates a problem. So why not have numbers that are easy to deal with? But if the Commission knows the formula, where are they putting the formula, and what was their recommendation in as far as being able to apply the 18%? And if they are saying that is going to be in regulation, again, that becomes a problem. So for us, we stick to the spirit of the law when we look at the Constitution demanding a simple and easy electoral system. That is what we focus on, and we find that the 18% formula departs from the aspiration of a simple electoral system. I submit, Chair.
Honorable members, yes, Skongo.
Thank you, Chair. There's a question that has been troubling me, especially when it comes to the allocation of seats for persons with disabilities. I was looking at Congo, and you agree with me that persons with disabilities have been very disadvantaged. So when you look at the qualifications that we were asking for, is there not a possibility where we find that maybe we fail to find someone who qualifies, especially at the local government level? So, and then if that happens, what do we do?
One of the requirements is that such a person must be registered with ZAPID. Now the question is, if it fails in Congo, what happens? That is at local government level.
Chair, if a person has a visual impairment and community understands and appreciates that this person has a visual impairment, without them having a card from ZAPID, surely should that be a basis for their disenfranchisement if they meet the rest of the qualifications? And so unless we are saying that ZAPID is decentralized to all districts and all wards and is efficient in issuing those cards, then we can talk. But otherwise, an election, by virtue of that alone, it means we are excluding certain categories which have already been excluded for a longer time. So we are, in our view, is that that qualification should be accompanied by, robust registration, because ZAPID in any case has a responsibility according to the Persons with Disabilities Act to register. So it will be a failure then on ZAPID to be able to do their job. I submit.
Okay. Any other? Yes.
Yes, Honorable Chair. I think for me, the question is not satisfactorily answered. Yes. Even in Kalabo, we have such people who don't have the certificates from ZAPID. Now, for me, I want to understand the Constitution states, or this law, is it the Constitution or this Act which we are making, which states of the certificate for the disabled? Now, if it is stated in the statute, and we don't do accordingly, what have we done to that law? Haven't we broken the law? So, for us to cure this situation, why can't there be a remedy which is in the legal system? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Caritas, yes, Madam.
Just to add, I think when we're talking about this law, right, this is a bill. It's
not yet cast.
There's still room to deliberate, to discuss, and to strengthen it. And from what my colleague is saying is that when you have such a stringent provision, it then, what it does is that it puts vulnerable groups into an even more situation. So perhaps the law can speak to how we can remedy that provision. So at the point that you find that this is a qualified person, and because they are qualified, instead of the law strictly saying, because you don't have this certificate, you then don't qualify, the law should provide a time frame to remedy that. So if we have found that a person doesn't qualify because they don't have that certification, the law can go on to say, if such a situation occurs, the person can be given 14 days or 17 days to remedy, such that they get a certificate from ZAPID. But just to emphasize that ZAPID has a mandate as well. So the fact that they have failed to actually certify this person is in itself, I don't know the right word to use, but your honorable, is that we can provide a time frame to say if this happens, they are given a certain time frame to ensure that they are certified so that they qualify, as opposed differentializing them and saying they can't then stand.
I did not want to put it. I wanted it to come from you. It's only in court where we say we put it to you. Here we don't. And we get submissions. Only is a burning issue. If not, what would be your last submission? Caritas.
Chair, our submission would be that the committee and of course National Assembly looks at some of these concerns that we've raised and be able to remedy them in the interest of enhancing electoral integrity in this country, but most importantly that those additional submissions actually go to the core of transparency of the process and give clarity in terms of practice, and therefore it will be in the interest of the committee as well as those that practice elections to be able to adopt some of these recommendations so that we have a very good piece of legislation that will govern our electoral process in Zambia, not only for 2026 but for the many years to come. I submit, Chair.
We're totally grateful to Alliance for Community Action and the CARITAS, more so that decided to come as one, to save on time and to speak one language. Ours is submissions, and thereafter a report shall be put in the House to Madam Speaker, and then the House will deliberate. So this is not the end. We are just beginning. We are grateful that Yusuf, as you are, you have brought pertinent issues, and we are listening. We enjoy. Yeah? We hear this one, and then we hear that one, and then we'll compare at the end. Having come this far, I take the immunity back to ourselves. Whatever you have said in here, no one will prosecute you. Peradventure, and that's not our way. Whatever you say thereafter, after we've taken our immunity, you'll be on your own. But we are totally grateful. It is together for our mother Zambia. With it remaining.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members.
Totally. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. That was a select committee appointed to scrutinize the Electoral Process Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 44 of 2026. The interactions with this select committee started yesterday. We had the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development making their appearance and their submissions. That was followed by the Zambia Police Service, who also had their interactions yesterday. Today, we had CARITAS Zambia and Alliance for Community Action having their interactions with the select committee appointed to scrutinize the Electoral Process Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 44. My name is Chashinsha Husenga. My sign language interpreters have been Jason Manda and Chola Kauma. Keep watching Parliament TV as we keep bringing Parliament closer to you.
Believe me, baby, yeah. Nikakuza mwamene nipelela. Nimepaliwe, I can't deny.